Hey guys, Dylan from Noble Records coming at you with another video. So my collection, I've got a lot of different stuff from a lot of different countries. I love music from all around the world. And so I thought of a good idea this morning when I woke up, just was in my brain. I was like, what about 20 records from 20 different countries? So I went through and started trying to just pick one out from each country or whatever. And it got to where I had like 30 or 40. And I was like, why don't we just narrow it down and make it a little more challenging to rock? So I've got 20 rock albums from 20 different countries and all stuff I would recommend. If you're new to my channel, I do every week a thing called Heavy Rotation where I talk about records I'm getting into my collection or records I'm listening to. So some of the stuff I've mentioned in Heavy Rotation, but outside of that, I've not mentioned it a whole lot like in a real video. So anyways, I'm excited to show some of this stuff to you guys, but all of them are records I would highly recommend. Most of them are records that need more attention that a lot of people have never heard of. And so these would be a good video for you to tune in on to get some recommendations, things you might not be aware of already. So if you haven't already, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, turn on your post notifications so you don't miss anything. If you have Instagram, we have a record store in Matthews, North Carolina, and a record label. In our record store, we buy big collections, give recommendations, all that stuff. So make sure to follow us on Instagram at Noble Records. All right. The first one that came to mind, the first one I grabbed off my wall, I have a wall in here of all my favorite records, was this. The Oscillations. I Can See It Coming. I have not talked about this record enough. This is my favorite, well, one of my favorite Zamrock records. So Zamrock is a movement from Zambia. Zambia had some incredible rock in the mid-late 70s. And this is one of the best, most guitar-driven Zamrock records. You don't see it much. The only reissue that it's had up to now is in the Vinyl Me Please Zamrock box set. You can get it, but outside of that, you'd have to get an original, which this is an original Zambian press. And those are really hard to find. But the lead guitar player, he had polio, so he was confined to a wheelchair. A really, really incredible person, but he played he's like the Zambian Jimi Hendrix. He's absolutely incredible. And these songs are really, really cool, really unique. So if you kind of want to dip your toes in some African rock, that's a really, really good one to go. We're going to take a trip to Brazil. O Terco from Brazil. They had a couple really good records. This one is incredible. I just listened to it before we put this video on. It took me a while to find this. This is an original Brazilian press. Very, very good rock, progressive rock from Brazil. Brazil has a lot of good rock and roll. This is just the one that I drifted to. This really, really good. You got Os Mutantes, another one I almost pulled them. But O Terco is a really, really amazing. And then the C's got that little, it's got a little squiggly underneath it. So if you're looking it up, sometimes you need that. Another one is Wigwam, Fairyport. Wigwam is a band from Finland. Really good, heavy on the prog side, but really, really good kind of symphonic. It takes you on a trip. It's a really good long listen. There's a double LP. This is an original press from Finland, original Finnish press. And all these are original pressings from the original country. So, a lot of people ask me, what pressing should I get? I always try to get, just because I'm a collector and I'm weird, but I like to get the first pressing from the country that the band is from. That's what I like to do. So anyways, that's this. But very, very good record. It's one you don't really hear a whole lot. Wigwam is a really, really cool band. And this is it's a cool record. I really like it. This one is from Argentina, El Reloj. This is an incredible record. And I had a couple other ones picked out for Argentina. One I always talk about is Papo's Blues. Papo's Blues, I have all the Papo's Blues records. I love Papo, incredible guitar player from Argentina. He had a project called Aero Blues, which that's the one I had. But I talk about that stuff a lot. So I wanted to do something I haven't talked about in a long time. I don't think I've talked about this since I got it. I got it a few years ago. This is an absolute incredible rock record. Again, it's a little bit more on the prog side, but it's a hard prog, hard rock. And man, that cover just entrances you. And the reason I found this was I was trying to track down all the Papo's Blues records like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. And somebody had a bunch, and they're like, "Hey, have you heard of El Relo?" And I was like, "No." And they're like, "Okay, well, we're let's do a deal on this one." So I bought it. Didn't know what it was. I just saw what the cover looked like, and I was like, "I'm buying that." And it is absolutely incredible. See, Papa's Blues is more like blues rock centered. This is more like concept prog rock, but it's still really hard rock. It's very, very good. Highly recommend this record. It's absolutely phenomenal. And I don't talk about it enough. This is one from Uruguay, Opus Alpha. And usually when I'm recommending a record from Uruguay, it's Dias de Blues. I talk about that record a lot, but this is another one. They've reissued this, so this is easily available on reissue. But Opus Alpha, amazing. It sounds a lot like, Dias de Blues, Papa's Blues, Air Blues, stuff like that. It is hard blues rock from South America, but this is an original Uruguayan press of Opus Alpha. Really, really good if you like that hard rock blues feel. Great record. This is one I recently showed on my heavy rotation. If you don't follow heavy rotation stuff, this is one I've been looking for a really, really long time. This is Cargo from the Netherlands. Absolutely amazing. This is a first press. It is really killer hard rock. The two, they have twin guitar solo. Well, yeah, they call it twin solos, but it was two brothers that kind of traded off guitar licks. So they were twin lead guitars, and really amazing. The original pressings are really hard to find. The reissues are even really hard to find. But this is one worth checking out, worth looking, going down the rabbit hole and finding a link somewhere to listen to. I think you can at least listen to it on YouTube, but absolutely fantastic record. If you like that hard rock stuff, like in the same wheelhouse of like, it's like Cream, but a little more of a prog, feel to it. Really killer guitar stuff though. Amazing record. Love Cargo. Another one, it was really tough to pick one from Japan because I have a lot of stuff from Japan. I always talk about Flower Traveling Band, Speedglue and Shinky Chin, all that stuff I really always talk about. But this is one I haven't talked about as much. It's not like unknown or anything, but this is a blues creation, Demon and 11 Children. This is the first Japanese hard rock record I ever heard. And I could not believe what I was hearing. A friend of mine, this is the first Japanese press. It's missing the obi strip, but a friend of mine had gotten a reissue of this, and he was like, "Dude, you've got to check this out. I can't even believe this." And at the time, I didn't even know that Japan had rock. This was 15 years ago, probably. And I listened to it, and just my mind was blown. So since then, I've been looking for an original press. I just got this probably last year, and it is absolutely fantastic, insane hard rock from Japan. Face melting guitar solos. It is worth checking out for sure. It's a fantastic record. Here's another one from Africa. I only had a couple in here from Africa, but this is the S Job Movement, and this is psychedelic funk from Nigeria. And this is a great record. It's like psychedelic rock / funk. There's a lot of really heavy guitar on it. It does have more of a funk vibe, but it is considered, psychedelic rock, so I thought I would throw it in there. I have a lot of stuff from all over Africa, so I had to pick one from Nigeria and Zambia. Those are my two favorite, probably, countries to pick stuff from, but this is a really killer record. If you like Funkadelic Maggot Brain type stuff, this is that with an African spin on it, and it's absolutely fantastic. Okay, next one, again, hard to pick one from Canada. But this is the one I hadn't talked about in a while. This is one of my favorites. This is Rockadrome, Royal American 20th Century Band. Fantastic record. This basically is comprised of a bunch of studio musicians that got together to make a record, and it is fuzz rock from heaven. It is incredible stuff. Love this record. Really hard to find. Another one from Canada I almost talked about was Plastic Cloud, War Pig. A lot of really good stuff from Canada. So this is the one I chose just because I haven't talked about it in a while, and it deserves more attention. Incredible, incredible record that I'm thrilled to own. From Belgium, there was only one choice for me, and that's my favorite record from Belgium, and that is Irish Coffee. It's the original first Belgian press of Irish Coffee. Really amazing hard rock. Amazing band. They toured around, they played, they were known for a really good live performance. after one of their gigs one night. One of the band members died in a car accident, and they decided to call it quits. So they only ever put out this one record. But if you like that dirty, nasty, early 70s, hard and heavy, hard rock that I always talk about, this is quintessential, amazing, off the charts, tip-top recommendations, Irish Coffee. If you haven't heard it, it is a real mind blower. No surprise for Switzerland. I'm sure y'all can guess which one I'm going to show. Could not show this record. It's my favorite record from Switzerland. This is Toad. My son drew, he drew a toad. He opened up the gatefold and drew the gatefold of it. But anyways, this is an original first press from Switzerland. And you know, if you haven't heard me talk about this record, you're probably new to the channel because I talk about it all the time. This is one of my tip-top favorite obscure rock recommendations. Like I said, I've mentioned it in pretty much every video I've ever had. It is amazing stuff. I'm smiling just looking at it. After all these years, you know, I've had a few original copies by now, but this is the only first Switzerland press I've had, first Swiss press. I've had I used to have a white label promo from Italy. And then I got this one, and I was like, well, I guess I'll keep the first one from the country that they're from. So, amazing Swiss band. They put out a few records. This is my favorite. Unbelievable hard rock. It is absolutely a standout in that whole genre. For me, is Toad. It is a tip-top recommendation. I talked about this one in one of my recent heavy rotations. As far as Discogs is concerned, this is my #1 most valuable record. And this is Atomic Forest, Obsession 77. This is a psychedelic rock record from India. This is an incredible artifact, really. Not many of these exist, especially in this condition. It is super clean. And it is amazing. And I actually ripped this and put it on my other channel. I have a channel called Find This Record where I rip records that aren't online. So I ripped this so you guys can listen to it. It wasn't previously, some of the tracks were online, but most of them weren't. But this is unreal. They do a lot of covers, like they do a Beatles cover, they do a Jethro Tull cover, but they do like out of this world psychedelic fuzz rock, overdrive versions of these songs, and it's just absolutely unreal. It is if you've not heard this before, you will hear it and say, I've never heard anything like this in my life. I put this on in the shop one day, and everybody was like, what is this? I have to have this. What is this? You know, and obviously I couldn't sell it, but yeah, this is an unbelievable record. Thrilled to have it. It's from India. There's not a lot of psychedelic rock records from India. And so this is actually, I think this is said to be the only one to ever come out of India. So anyways, that's a really fantastic record. In my collection, this is another one. There's a whole genre of Italian prog, and I have quite a few Italian prog, but this is my favorite one. There's a band called Cervello. Melos is the name of the record, and it actually, I don't do this much because I don't want to put any more wear and tear on this thing, but it opens up like this. Very cool. I only ever do that when I'm showing it on a video, so I don't do it for my own enjoyment. But this is an absolutely killer example of Italian prog if you're wanting to get into that. You know, different countries have their own little niche, and Italian prog just has its own little flavor that's very unique to Italy. And like I said, this is one that's more palatable. There's a lot of really far out there Italian prog, but this is actually like the first one I really loved and listened to a lot. You know, there's a lot of it that I can listen to once or twice, appreciate it, and kind of move on from it. This is one that I still regularly listen to. I have one cube of stuff that I listen to pretty frequently. This is in that cube. It is amazing, and it's my favorite of that genre. Spanish, this is from Spain. This is my favorite record from Spain. It's Toppyman. I believe I'm saying that right, but this is an absolute incredible record. It is autographed by, I think, the lead singer, but one of the members of the band. He wrote a little note on the back that I actually probably need to get somebody to translate for me. But actually, it's autographed by a couple of them, so I don't know. Let's see, is that all of them? I guess it's a couple. I don't know. Anyways, but it's autographed by some members of the band. This is an original pressing from Spain, and as you can see, the cover looks pretty brutal. That is how this record is. It is brutal. A little bit of a blues strain to it, but it is really overdrive fuzz guitar solos, really, really heavy. Absolute incredible record. If you can stream this anywhere. It's been reissued by Garrison. It's a fantastic record. So check this out, Top Him In. It's a tip-top recommendation for me. This is one I picked, so from the UK, if you can imagine how hard it was to pick a record from the UK. And somebody actually asked me the other day, I've been doing this Q&A thing I'm about to do. Probably my next video will be I'm answering a bunch of questions that people have asked me, but somebody has said, what's the most underrated Vertigo? And this is the one I think it is. But this is just a record I never hear anybody talk about, probably because it's so rare nobody has it. But it is an absolutely phenomenal record. This is Linda Hoyle, Pieces of Me. This is an original Vertigo, UK Vertigo press. And Linda Hoyle she sang for the band Affinity, which they have a Vertigo that's pretty well known. And it is a fantastic rock record as well. She broke off, I think she was a teacher for a while, and she really wanted to be a singer. It was her passion, and she was able to record an album. And on this album, she wanted to showcase everything she was able to do. So it goes from like a couple like real ballady type jazz stuff, and all really good, into some really crazy, heavy acid rock. And it's just start to finish. It brings you through a lot of different genres, but this is a tip-top recommendation. I think this record deserves a lot more attention. It's very, very rare. They think they only made 300 original copies of this. It's probably the rare. I've heard that it's the rarest Vertigo. Dr. Z might be the rarest one. I don't know, but this is amazing stuff. So Linda Hoyle, Pieces of Me, tip-top. All right. So this one is from Australia. I have a lot of stuff from Australia. A lot of really good stuff. I almost showed the McPhee record, but I think I already showed it in a recent video. So this is one I haven't showed in a while. This is Tamam Shud, Galutianites and the Real People. But this is a hard rock / prog record, and it is so enjoyable. From start to finish, it's a great record. It is a standout. They have a couple records. This is the one that is just so good. I highly recommend you finding that online somewhere and listen to it. It's a favorite. From Iceland, I had a few I was considering, but this is the one that rose to the top. Ice Cross. It is that brutal early 70s hard and heavy hard rock. I mean, look at that cover. It's been reissued, I think, once, and it is an absolute off the charts ripper. If you like that type of thing, Ice Cross. A lot of you've probably heard of this record, but it is fantastic. That's a first press from Iceland. So next one is New Zealand, and that is the Human Instinct Stone Guitar. I remember hearing this record for the first time, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is a guitar, this is crazy. It was one of the first ones that really bent my brain because it was just so mind-melting. But insane, psychedelic guitar trip. It is fantastic. The Human Instinct Stone Guitar, they have a few really good records. This is the only original New Zealand press I have of any of their stuff, but the rest of their albums are really good too. This is fantastic. This is one I've shown before. It's been one of my most wanted records forever, but as you can imagine, it was hard to pick a record from Germany. This is the one I thought I would pick. This is Weed. Absolutely amazing record. It was kind of a supergroup type thing that was kind of kept hush-hush. There's some rumors about who's on it. Nobody's sure because it doesn't say. There's a lot of rumors who played on this record. It is a really killer hard rock / prog masterpiece. I would highly recommend you getting your hands on. And the last one is from the United States, which, again, really hard to pick one from the United States. That's what I have the most of, obviously. And this is one I recently got. I've barely talked about it. This is George Brigman Jungle Rot. This is an original first press that I got from George Brigman himself. This is a very, very clean near mint copy. But this is insane hard rock. It sounds like it almost sounds a little proto-punk. It sounds a little like Iggy. Incredible face-melting hard rock. If you've never heard this, you'll listen to it and think, where's this been all my life? It is really killer guitar stuff. George Brigman has an insane method of playing guitar that is very unique, very different than anything you've ever heard. And it's just a really, really fantastic record. I love this record. It's one that you don't hear a whole lot about, and it is a private press hard rock grail, and it's incredible. I would keep your eyes peeled for that one. It's dope. So anyways, thank y'all for watching this video. I just wanted to take you through 20 of my favorites from 20 different countries. If you have any recommendations, you can drop them in the comments. Like I said, I got a lot of different stuff from a lot of different countries, but those are just the first ones I thought about. I have some stuff from France that I didn't put in here just because I was wanting to keep it to 20. I got some stuff from all over, but there's a couple more South American countries that I didn't include that I've got some stuff from. But anyways, all that to say, thank y'all so much for watching this video. If you liked it, subscribe, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. We love to stay in tune with you guys. We'll see you guys next time.